Good evening, everyone. This is Annabelle Dotsman, Technology Integration Coach for the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. We're thrilled that you have chosen to join us this evening as we continue with our year-long series going through the Google Level 1 Certification Bootcamp. This evening, Mr. Aaron Heinz, Technology Integration Coach for the Archdiocese, will take us through Google Hangouts and Google Chrome extension in preparation for the certification exam. Tonight, we are using the Zoom webinar platform, just as we have done so over the past few webinars. We encourage you to join in the conversation throughout the presentation through Zoom's back channel. You will see a panel on your screen similar to what is displayed now, showing the current attendees. At the bottom of the screen, you should see the chat box. In the event your chat box is currently not open, take a look at the bottom of your screen and you should see a toolbar with a chat button that looks like a speech bubble. You want to click the speech bubble and that should open up your chat box area under the attendee list. Please take a moment to say hi and to welcome everyone in attendance. Throughout the presentation, feel free to share your thoughts, your questions, and even examples of how you may be utilizing the tools and skills that are presented this evening. So let's start this evening as we do all good things in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Lord, by the light of the Holy Spirit, you have taught the hearts of your faithful. In that same Spirit, help us to relish what is right and always rejoice in consolation. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Just a reminder that this webinar, along with all of our webinars, will be recorded and posted within the next 24 to 48 hours on our AOP Tech YouTube channel. Any opportunity for Q&A will be recorded as well and will be posted on our YouTube channel. In addition to Aaron's presentation, for our Cool Tool feature, we are fortunate to have Ms. Trish Carbone back with us this evening for a brief roundtable discussion to explore the presentation platform Bunsy. So with that, I'm going to go ahead over and turn it over to my amazing and talented teammate and fellow AOP Tech Integration Coach, Mr. Aaron Heinz. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Annabelle.
How are you doing tonight?
I am doing well. Thank you for that great introduction.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to let you take over from here and lead us off with tonight's main session.
Thanks. You can see my screen all right?
I'm going to stop sharing mine, I think. There we go. Yep.
Perfect. All right, so thank you to everyone who is giving up part of your evening to join us. And thank you if you're watching this on the archive on YouTube. Thank you for joining us there as well. Just a reminder, our YouTube channel is youtube.com/AOPTech. And so tonight we are rounding out our Google Level 1 Certification Prep Series by focusing on two Google programs, Google Hangouts, and we're also going to talk briefly about Chrome extensions. So just a reminder, as you are preparing for that certification test, you are allowed to bring in notes and resources, and certainly we will encourage you to have maybe even a second device sitting next to you when you're taking that test. So any notes that you write down during tonight's webinar, you can use on the test. It is not cheating. Google encourages, they have an open book policy, so that's a good thing for us. Another reminder about the test, of course, it's divided into two sections. There is a 20 multiple choice section first, and then there's a scenario section. And you'll probably see somewhere between 5 to 7 scenarios. And I definitely want to put a plug in here for next month because you'll definitely want to join us when on Wednesday, April 10th. Alyssa DeVito is going to go through a really nice, some best practice tips. She's going to finish out a couple last things we have to talk about in terms of Google. And the best part is she's actually going to be modeling an entire scenario from start to finish. And one of the things that you'll discover in her presentation is that scenarios often have multiple parts, and she'll walk you through how to attack those multiple parts, what you need to do, and where you need to kind of pay attention. So it's definitely going to be a great webinar, and I really encourage everybody to join us then. The registration link, I believe, should be on our aoptech.org website, and we certainly invite you to join us then. So tonight we're talking about Google Hangouts. We're going to be talking about what it is, what it does, and how we can use it in our classroom, but certainly how we can, what to expect on the test, because that is basically our main focus with this webinar series. So here's some big kind of top of the board facts right here. Google Hangouts does a lot of things. And, for the Google certification test, really where you're going to see Hangouts appear is going to be in that multiple choice question section. So a lot of it's going to be, what does Hangouts do? How does it work? Where do you need to access it? That's going to be the type of questions that Google's going to ask you regarding Hangouts. Due to kind of the how Hangouts works, you probably won't see it in the scenario section. The only thing that you might see, we're going to touch a little bit about, we're going to touch on Google Calendar and how Hangouts is a part of that. But that's really going to be the only area where you'll probably see Hangouts in the scenario section. So really we're talking about the multiple choice section. We're going to be talking about some basic facts of what Google Hangouts does. So you see on the screen, like kind of some 5 main points. We're going to talk about it here, and then we'll take a dive into that platform, and I'll walk you through, the layout and the features. So certainly Google Hangouts can facilitate text messaging, just messages back and forth. It can also do voice calling, so essentially using Google Hangouts like a telephone. And in fact, we'll actually be able to call my good friend Jenny. We'll talk about that. And then there's also a video chat component. So very similar to what we're using right now. We're using the Zoom platform, but essentially in terms of video chat, Google Hangouts does the same thing. So we will be getting a little meta today because we're going to have a video chat inside of video chat. So that'll be towards the end of my part of tonight. We'll certainly talk about the ability to screen share just like I'm doing right now. The fact that you can see me, but you can also see what's on my screen. One number to keep in mind is that Hangouts is limited to 25 attendees. And that's going to be they might be one of those facts they ask you. The nice thing is, remember, you don't have to remember that. That's a really easy question to Google. So if you see it and you don't remember exactly how many attendees can work in Google Hangouts, you can Google stuff during the test. It's just you do want to be mindful of your time. So you don't want to be looking up everything, but certainly for something like that, if it's something very specific, you can look it up. Now, we're in an interesting point in the Google world right now. There's been a lot of articles talking about that Google is planning on shutting Hangouts down. They don't even have a firm date out there. October 2019 has floated around. I've also seen October 2020. Google has a habit of keeping multiple platforms up, things that do very similar things, and then slowly phasing them out over time. And sometimes they shut them down right away. Sometimes it's a very extended, slow shutdown. We still have classic Google sites out there. So this isn't a firm deadline, but the question that's kind of come up with this is the fact that for our EDU customers, so people who are at a school or if you have Google at work, Google has really taken Hangouts away from the corporate education side of things and is transitioned into what they're calling Hangouts Meet. And they've actually split what Google Hangouts does. So we have Google Hangouts at the top as kind of the original OG. It's been around for a long time, and they've split that off into Hangouts Chat, which is essentially they're trying to go after Slack, which is a really popular business messaging platform. And so they're kind of, so you have Hangouts Chat over here on that one side, and then you have Hangouts Meet, which is kind of the new video calling tool that Google's rolling out. And so down the road, 2019, 2020, at some point, we're going to start to see get Google Hangouts go away and it really be placed for everybody with Google Meet. I tell you that because right now the test is behind where Google is. So as for me, I have a Arch Phil email account. So for us, Google Hangouts has actually already gone away. Google Meet is what is available for us. So I have to jump into my personal account where I still have Hangouts. So that's one little thing you may see between a difference between your school account and your personal account is Hangouts and Meet are kind of flip-flopped. But for the test, and here's where it gets tricky, the test is only going to ask you about Google Hangouts. So that's just something to keep in mind. So where can you get Hangouts? Hangouts lives in a lot of different places. Google Hangouts lives, of course, in the waffle. Now, we've talked about the waffle, that all of these little icons are movable. So while my Hangouts, I dragged it to the top, you have to go to the waffle and you might have to scroll down to see where Hangouts lives for you. And actually here we can see side by side, I have both Hangouts and Meet at the same time. Google Hangouts also lives in Gmail. So if you are in your Gmail tab and the bottom left-hand corner, and this is where, come on, go away. Let me get my little, there we go. So you can see the little phone, the little question mark, and then the person, and these are actually where Hangouts lives in Gmail. We also see Hangouts in Calendar, and this is the one thing where you might, in one of those scenarios for your Google Level 1 cert, it may ask you to schedule a meeting and to make sure that you have included a Hangouts link. And we see that it's right here underneath the location. There's a little video tab, and you can select a drop down and you can choose Google Hangouts. Lastly, we find Google Hangouts is also as an app. So this also works on mobile applications. So cell phones, there's an Android and an iTunes version of Hangouts. And so you could conceivably do a Hangout from one phone to a computer, computer to a phone, phone books to Chromebooks, I like that. Phones to Chromebooks, stuff like that. So the big picture is what I want you to get out of this is the fact that Hangouts lives in the waffle. It lives in Gmail. It lives in Google Calendar. And it also lives as a mobile application. So it's the same tool, it's just we can find it in a lot of different places. That being said, from a school perspective, if you are an AOP school, specifically a tech teacher, you've come to our meetings, which are coming up again, by the way. We have our March PLC scheduled. If you're a tech teacher, register now on our website. We have recommended that Hangouts is disabled for students. And the reason behind this is we don't want it to be a distraction. There are ways that Hangouts can be a really effective learning tool. In fact, I have a couple schools where they have students that are stuck at home for medical issues and they're using Hangouts to kind of do a remote learning environment. That's a great tool for it. I have some schools where they'll do like, it used to be called a mystery Skype, so we'll call it a mystery Hangout. That's another great use of it. So for students, we recommend it usually be disabled, and this would be by your Google administrator. Except for maybe some of those special circumstances, maybe they want to hang out with an author or something like that, then you could unlock it for just those particular kids or for that particular time. Now for teachers, I think Hangouts is a great tool for collaboration. Because there's something about actually seeing the people you're talking to. You know, I think in an increasingly text-based society, text message, social media, a lot of times that the finesse of talking is lost. You know, the little inferences, the diction, you know, and people all of a sudden there's distorted meaning and people don't understand. There's just something about seeing the person you're talking to, which is why I'm joining you with video tonight. I wanted you guys to see me. And so, yeah, Hangouts for a student, really not something we recommend for teachers, a great tool for collaboration. So now that we have kind of an idea about what Hangouts is and where it lives, we know the 5 things that it does, and we know the 5 different places where we can find it, and we know that there's 25 people allowed in. Now we're going to get to the part of the time where we're going to do a video chat within a video chat and go a little meta. So let me switch my screen here. Can you see, Annabelle, can you see my Google Hangouts screen right now?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right, so here we are at Hangouts, and I've actually had to, I switched to my personal account.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Aaron. No, I'm still seeing your Let's Dive into Google Hangouts.
Okay, not a problem. There you go.
There we go. Got it.
Right. Perfect. Thank you. So here we are. I switched to my personal account. I am at Hangouts. I got to it by using the little waffle on the top of our screen, and I can come to Hangouts here. So first thing we have over here, we have the ability to add, how do we talk to people? So I have two options right here. I can put in an individual person if I want, or I have the ability to actually do groups. So I could talk to multiple people all at the same time. And so that's a really nice way to collaborate as a team. Coming down, I mentioned my friend Jenny. Well, Jenny doesn't have a computer right now. She just has a cell phone. Let me see if I can remember her number. It's 267-867-5309. And you notice that I typed that in, and I could actually call her for free right now. She's a really nice girl, great girl. And you could have a phone conversation essentially using Google Hangouts. And they refer to that right here as a phone call. Now, I'm not actually going to call that number because, of course, I am just using the song as a reference right now. Thank you for everybody out there who got that joke. I'll be here all night. Try the veal. So we can message multiple people. We can message individual people. I can call an individual person. And then we have the ability to chat. And so here I have one of our demo accounts. And I'm going to say that I want to message that account. And so let's see if we can drag this over. So here I have a chat window that pops up. Let's not do that because you probably can't see that. And so from here, I can say, good evening. And I'm going to switch. So here on my Chromebook, and this is tough to see, but in my Chromebook, I have the little chat box that popped up right here. And so I can say, hi. And we see that that person has responded right down here. So we can go do a phone call. We can message people. We can message groups. So if I wanted to bring another person in to this conversation, I click that and I can find another person and bring them in. Back. And the next thing we can do is we can video call. So this is where it gets kind of cool. So again, I'm going to come over here to my demo student. And now I can click this little button right here. I could also click this button right here. And most likely, so I don't know if you can hear the little ringing. I'll answer it. Okay, so now we can see I'm calling from one screen to the other, and oh, we got some feedback with the voice there. There is video available, but I think because, let me see if I can turn off, I can stop sharing my video. Because right now my computer doesn't like the fact that I am doing two webinars at the same time. So let's see if we can get Hangouts to work on this way. Ah, there we go. All right, so we can see a little preview there. And let's see, turn this on. So yeah, so we can video chat, we can phone call, we can group message. And the next thing I can do is I can share my screen. And so to do that, I'm going to come up here to the three little dots, and I have a screen share. Now I'm actually going to do this on my Chromebook, so you can see, say yes, entire screen. So now, and I can even minimize this. And so now you can see I'm in my email of my Chromebook on here. And that's a really helpful tool because when you can share a screen, of course, you can then talk about a presentation just like we're doing tonight. So now let me get out of the metaverse, and I'm going to close Hangouts very carefully because I didn't want to close out of you guys, and I bring my video back. Okay. So, big picture, that's what Google Hangouts does. It allows us to phone calls, text message, video chat. We can do it on computers. We can use phones. It's a very versatile platform. Now, you don't need to know it for the test, but just in the back of your mind, know that Hangouts is going away and will be replaced by Google Meet. So now that we've kind of done some of that, and please feel free, if you have questions, feel free to drop them into the chat window. Annabelle's in there, and she can definitely help answer some of them. Annabelle, is there anything in there that came up while I was kind of going through the different levels of video chat?
Awesome to see you double time. Oh my goodness. But as far as your reference back then, Karen McDonald got it.
All right.
That, so yay. It's pretty quiet back here, but a lot of information, a lot of good information that you shared with us, especially bringing in experts, like being able to, for students to have those conversations with experts in the field and letting them get one-on-one with them. So I think that's a good thing. Also, as far as a type of distance learning, if students are out for some time, this could be an opportunity for them to stay involved with their classwork and keep up to date as well. So a lot of good things with Google Hangouts that are possible.
That's awesome. So now that we've kind of talked about Hangouts, we're going to talk about Chrome extensions. So very much like Hangouts, this is going to be some of the things for the test that you're going to see probably more on the multiple choice section, that first section of the test. These are probably not things that you're going to see in the scenario part of the test. So this is, again, that they exist and what they do. That's really what Google's looking for. Now, I like this little graphic because a lot of times people get add-ons and extensions confused. And so a good thing to note is the fact that add-ons, they live in the Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and Google Forms all have add-ons. And these are little tiny programs that will make, say, Google Docs do something different or do something special. So there's a Bible verse add-on in Google Docs. There's a really nice bibliography citation tool in Google Docs. Google Forms, Flippity runs on add-ons. Flippity does random name generators. Will pick random students' names, so instead of having to call on kids, that's a really great tool. But those are all add-ons. They basically allow you to customize a program. So tonight we're talking about extensions. And extensions live in the Chrome browser. And actually you can see at the top of my screen here, I have several different extensions. And again, what extensions do, these are tiny little programs that run in my Chrome browser that allow me to kind of customize my Google Chrome experience, if you will. So how do I get these extensions up here? Well, you're going to go to the Chrome Web Store, and that's where you can add on different extensions. You can search for them. I'll go into ones that I really like, and I have some lists for you as well. But the biggest thing you need to know is the fact that extensions run in Chrome and add-ons run in the other programs. They run in Sheets, Docs, Slides, and Forms. That's going to be probably the biggest question out there. Because there are so many different extensions out there, they're not going to ask you about a specific one, because there are literally thousands of different extensions out there. But know that they do exist. One point of note, if you do have a lot of extensions, and 15 is kind of a good number. I originally said 12, and then I counted mine, and I was like, oh, I better make it bigger because I have more than 12. If you have multiple Chrome extensions, they can really slow down your browser. So this is a great tool that if you go to a student's Chromebook and they're like, oh, it's super slow, look at the top of that bar there. And if you see like 45,000 extensions, be like, hey, you should remove some of them and it'll work a lot faster. So that's one thing just to kind of keep in the back of your mind. So as you try them, if you realize that, hey, I really am not using this one, go ahead and uninstall it or remove it. And you'll see some increased performance in your Chrome opening up. Now, I know right now you guys are just looking at this. Please know that this slide deck will be available to you in the follow-up email, or if you're watching this on YouTube, check the description down below. But these are all clickable links. And so what I did is I tried to kind of take the Chrome Web Store and break it into kind of some big categories. So popularity rules, these are the ones that are super favorites. A lot of people use them. Things for like calculators, clocks, calendars are in what I call the Chrome Toolkit. There are tons of screen capture Chrome extensions out there. Screencastify is probably the one I use the most. It's my personal favorite. There's a ton of little things like sticky notes, highlighters, being able to like take notes on things. So in this annotate the web one, and then there's a whole bunch of, you've probably seen the commercials for Grammarly or any things that kind of help you with your writing. There's a lot of them in the extensions, in the writing extensions section as well. And this also can be a really nice, if you have kids that have like an IEP or a 504, maybe they just, like are distracted by lots of clutter, or they need the text bigger. Or maybe you have young students and they need the websites read to them or translated, or anything like that. This adaptive learning tools link has a ton of great extensions in there. And I wanted to pull out two others. Casey Bell literally has hundreds, and she has a really nice sorting feature where you can go in there and like identify the grade level or the subject, or if you're looking for a specific area, like, hey, I need writing tools, or I'm looking for distraction things. So I know Alyssa has one that she uses where you can actually turn off social media accounts and allow to focus. So that's a great resource. And then Common Sense Media, which is another great resource. We use it all the time. We use it as our digital citizenship curriculum. It's a great resource for parents. But Common Sense Media also has some really great extensions for students with a review and explanation. So really some great places to check out. I do want to kind of mention some of my particular favorites, ones that I find are really helpful for my workflow. Again, this is not going to be on the test. The test is going to ask you what is an extension, what's an add-on. That's going to be about, the limit to what they're asking. Know that, lots of different types of extensions exist. You don't need specific ones, so please do not think that Boomerang or SpeechPad are going to be on your Google test. They will not be. This is just ones that I wanted to share with you tonight as you guys are here with us. So Boomerang, what it allows me to do, and it's a little boomerang, it lives right there. What it does is it allows me to do two things that are crucial. It allows me to pause my inbox. So for me, if I have a project, I'm trying to get some grading done, and every time I hear that ding, my phone goes off, I get distracted. And so when I want to just focus and I don't want to be bothered, I can actually pause my inbox. This is a free extension. It does have a premium side to it. I haven't really ever had to use the premium side. I just use the free side. But it allows me to pause my inbox for an hour or 2 hours. And then at the end of the 2 hours, all my emails come flooding back in. But it allows me to get work done. The other thing I really like Boomerang for is it allows me to schedule messages. So when I was sending out my parent newsletter, well, I'm writing that at 2 o'clock, in the afternoon, but I wanted it to hit their inboxes at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, because I knew that's when they're going to be sitting at home being able to read it. So it allows me to write emails and then schedule them later and have them sent out, which is a great tool. A couple other ones that I want to highlight. So SpeechPad, this one allows me to use my voice to write notes. So if I'm providing a student with feedback, I can actually use this in the comment section. It's a really nice tool. Share to Classroom allows, basically if I have students in my class and they want to like throw something up on the board, we can use Share to Classroom, and it allows them to basically share their screen, just kind of like we did with Hangouts, but they can actually put it up on my board. One note about this program, while it's really nice, can be a little finicky, so it is something just to keep in mind. Screencastify, that's right up here. Screencastify is the go-to tool for our recommendations for student taking video, shooting video in the classroom. They can draw on the screen. It saves directly to their Google Drive. There's not a lot of editing tools, but in terms of like usability, one click, start record. It can record just the webcam, just the screen, or both, just like kind of we're doing right now. It saves it to their Google Drive, so there's no like downloading, uploading, or anything. So in terms of like, hey, I want you to, read this paper, and then I want you to do a quick Screencastify video on 2 things you learned. And the kids can record that video and turn it right in through Classroom just by with the little link option. It's a great resource as a teacher, because if I have a student's voice, if I have their face, well, I've really eliminated questions about cheating at that point. I love it from my math teachers, because I know as a math teacher, the question is, well, how do I get my kids to show the work? Well, they can do the problem and then explain their thinking, and using Screencastify is a great tool for that. And again, you have then, as a teacher, you now have a resource of videos of kids explaining math problems. So now you can have kids like share with each other. And the next year's kid doesn't understand, you can pull from that. Here, watch, your older sister explain how to do that math problem. So it's a really great resource. I love it. Great extension. EasyBib for our works-cited bibliographies. I have my as an ELA teacher, my love-hate relationship with EasyBib. Bitmoji is how we make those little fun cartoons, which kids really seem to like the fact that when teachers do that. And I will say there are some that are not school appropriate, but for the most part, they're probably PG-13 rated, just so you know. But it's a great fun tool to certainly kind of put some personality into your presentation, stuff like that. The last two is, actually, I realized I just kind of messed up a little bit. So LastPass is a password manager, which I absolutely love. I got tired of trying to remember all the passwords and logins and usernames. And I realized, now that I got here to the bottom, this Cast for Education, I confused with Share to Classroom. So Share to Classroom is a little Chrome extension that allows me to push out things directly, links. I can actually even make assignments right from it, but I like it for pushing out links to kids. And the nice thing is, if you're on a website, you push it out to students, it will actually open up directly on their device automatically, which is super cool. But I could also go in here and I could say, well, I want to create an assignment, ask a question, just like I could do in Classroom, but I don't have to go into Classroom to do it. That is Share to Classroom. Not to be confused with Cast for Education. Cast for Education is a tool that allows, and it lives right up here, it's this little green square. That's the tool that allows you to have kids share their screen to the board up front. So I apologize about that. But the great thing is, not going to be on the test. Just the fact that extensions exist and what they do. That's all you're going to need to know. So I apologize about that. So, and yeah, I see a couple people in the chat room saying Cast is glitchy. But Share to Class was amazing. So thank you, Karen, for that. I'm glad that it is working. And I encourage you, if you have an extension that you love, like I said, there's thousands out there. So there's ones that I have never heard of. Drop them into the chat room, because it's always great to get new ideas and learn about new things. And like I said, all these links are available in the presentation when I send them over to you. So speaking of Bitmoji, we have Miss Trish Carbone, and she has our Bitmoji right here, and she has been gracious enough to join us for a second webinar. She is the technology teacher at St. Simon and Jude School in Westchester. She was an AOP Tech featured teacher for the month of December. So I definitely recommend checking out her article on Buncee. It's on aoptech.org. Click that little newsletters tab right there in the middle, and you can click on her article. She's got some great pictures of her kids using Buncee in the classroom. So Trish, thank you for joining us tonight. I know last time we had some technical issues, so I applaud you for rallying. I really appreciate you coming back and spending another evening with us. How are you?
I'm actually pretty good. I'm okay. Let's just hope it works again.
Oh, positive. It'll be just fine.
And I understand about it, you're also a fan of Buncee, is that correct?
Absolutely. Any type of tool that allows teachers and students to use it collaboratively and to give students a voice and a choice in demonstrating their learning, I'm a fan of. So that's why I'm excited to talk with Trish a little bit tonight about Buncee and to get her take and her experience in the classroom with it, and share it with everyone here tonight. So how you doing again, Trish?
Do you want me to share my screen?
We'll get to that in just a moment.
Good.
Before
that works for me.
Okay. Before we get started, or as we get started, can you tell us just a little bit, what is Buncee?
Buncee is a very easy, imaginative platform for students of any age and ability. The program allows students to present what they know. It allows them to be very creative using a variety of formats.
And that's awesome, because I think we want to make sure that we're giving students the opportunity to be creative and to demonstrate their learning in a way that they're engaged, and it lets them be engaged. So that's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about how you started using the tool and what your thoughts were when you first started using it?
Well, I went to the ISTE convention 4 years ago, and I watched the demonstration, and I thought, oh, that's really nice, but there wasn't a spark there going, oh, this would be great to use in my classroom. And then it turned out that a couple months ago, Alyssa said if anybody wanted to try a free trial of it, and I thought, I've seen it before, let me try it again. Well, I'll tell you what, 4 years makes a big difference. It literally is a one-stop shop effect with both audio and video. I mean, in 4 years, Buncee has added a ton of stuff to it.
That's awesome. And so can teachers and students use this? Can you explain how you use Buncee?
Yes, teachers can use Buncee in several ways. They can do quizzes, they can do tests, there's class blogs. It's great for flipped learning.
Awesome.
Teachers are able to track who opens up the program so they can see who's done the work. They can sync it with Classroom. They can grade the students. They can do assessments. They can add comments. I mean, it's really user-friendly. That's it.
That's great. So you're able to deliver your content to the students. How does that help you? How does it make it easier for you to do that?
It's very easy. You select the class where you want to create the assignment.
Would it be easier to go ahead and get to your screen, switch your screen on so we can take a look?
Well, sure. That's okay. Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little nervous now because okay. Like here's the dashboard where well, first of all, this is a dashboard where all the students' work is.
Okay.
So you can see everything is situated in one place. On your boards, you can create a new board, or you can create an assignment. You know, you add a title, you add a description, and you don't have to add just one assignment. Everything here is, I'm sorry, I'm Italian. I just ran my hand to point everything.
That's okay. I do it all the time.
Hands all the time. So once you add a new board, you can add whatever you want to it. Any type of activity, changing the settings, sharing, editing it. I mean, this is really good to have. You can choose whether the students can see the correct answers. You can choose whole classes. If you just want one student to send it to you, you can just choose that one student. So, I mean, go ahead.
Did it take you a long time to get used to the controls and to be able to use the platform?
It probably took me, no, honestly, no. I just played around with it, and it's so easy to use that the assignments were a little tougher, but only because before I just used activities. I hadn't created any assignments. So, you know, once I got into it, it was a breeze.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
You know, you can do, like, assignments, you can do, like, pick dates. I mean, there's such a variety of ways that you can use this, that this is just awesome. And it's so easy.
So not only can not only can teachers use it, how would the students be using this?
Well, the students can use this when they go into create a new bouncy. I just click here, and then I can create it. The students can do a variety of presentations. There's templates. I used it for a science journal for my 5th grade. They have book trailers that we've done for ELA. So the students have written stories for ELA. I mean, here's bookmarks. You can do brochures. I mean, they have anything like this that you can use a template or you can create yourself.
Awesome.
So I use, if I want to start from scratch, if we're going to go into this, if I want to start from scratch, this is what the blank screen looks like. So if I want to change my background, just like real quick, Bunsey.com, and there's a code. You can set up the students with like 4A, and they give you a class code.
And then once they have their final presentations done, how do they share that? How can they
actually, they literally just it goes right automatically onto the teacher's dashboard. Okay. So, like I showed you in the very beginning, did you see the very beginning with all the were you able to see where all these stories were? Okay, well, everything goes on one dashboard.
Okay, so they can share it with you electronically. They don't need to print out anything. They'll just be on the dashboard.
No, but I'll tell you what, for anybody that has that can use this Bunsey, they have the tools that they have. It helps the students with visualization. It helps them with retention. And I don't know if some of the teachers have dyslexic students, but they actually have a font that helps dyslexic students.
So really, it's a tool for all students. It can support diverse learners. So, you know, it's for a wide range of students, and enables them to be able to create their own presentations.
Right. The younger students can sign in with like a little icon. So that helps them sign in where they don't have to type. It's terrific for differentiated instruction. It even can be used for math visuals. If somebody has trouble and, like Aaron had said earlier, they want to see their work, it'll help them with the math visuals to understand their work. So it helps them with that. I can't believe you can't say it. That's such a shame.
Well, can you give us, it's a what we call a freemium platform, correct? So there's a free version and then you can upgrade to a paid version. Which version have you used?
Yes.
So you use the free version?
I've used both, the free version and the paid version.
Okay.
Either one is fine, but I think the paid version, there's a lot more that you can do with it.
Okay.
The free version gives you the basics, but it doesn't allow you to, or I should say us, it doesn't allow the students to really use their creativity and their imagination.
Gotcha. Okay. And what type of devices are needed for Bunsey?
The kids use the Chromebooks.
Okay. So it's a web-based platform, so I would imagine they could use it with Chromebooks, desktops, and even iPads?
Yes, you can use it for anything because Bouncy's online. It's not like you don't have to download it. You don't have to do anything like that. It's all online.
That's fantastic.
I mean, go ahead.
No, so I was just going to say, so in all, just as a wrap up for it, because you've given us a lot of information about it, sounds like a great presentation tool. Why would you recommend Bunsey as a classroom tool?
Because it's very easy to use. You can create any project for any curriculum standard.
Awesome.
The library in Bunsey has a ton of resources. You can use it for videos. You can use it for just audio. The kids that did the one story, they thought it was really great that they could just record their voices and they basically told a story in their own words. So the kids can do that. It can be used for STEM and it helps reinforce the students' learning. And honestly, if a student is struggling, it even builds the student's confidence because you can make a mistake and it could be okay.
That's great. That's great.
Like they don't have to be perfect doing this.
Right, and that's what we want to make sure we're doing with our students, that they're able to do work that's at their level and they'll be able to do creative work. Well, Trish, I want to thank you so much for your time and your efforts for your presentation and for coming back and joining us this evening and sharing this this awesome platform. And if anyone out there would like additional information, can they email you, Trish? Is it okay if they contact you?
Yes, and you know what? I can send them a link to the presentation that I was going to show.
Oh, absolutely. What we will do is, if you can send that to me, I'll
sure.
put that in the follow-up email that will be sent out within the next day or two.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Trish, for all your hard work on this. We appreciate it.
Thank you for allowing me to come back and redo this.
Absolutely. So I'm going to ask you if you can stop sharing your screen, and then I'll share mine. Awesome. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Aaron for his presentation tonight. And as we close out our tonight's session, just a reminder that our next webinar will be on Wednesday, April 10th. We hope you will join us on what will be our final webinar of the year. And as Aaron gave you a sneak peek at the beginning of the webinar, Ms. Alyssa DeVito will wrap up our year-long series with some insight into what it's really like to take the certification test, including some essential test-taking strategies and tips, so you don't want to miss it. The featured cool tool will be Code Combat. So registration is now open on our website, aoptech.org. And as always, you can follow us across all social media platforms at AOP Tech. You can check out our website, aoptech.org. And we encourage you to join our Remind group to get news and updates and advance notice for all of our department offerings. Once again, thank you so much for Aaron for an awesome presentation, and as well as for to Ms. Trish Carbone for her time and effort that went into presenting tonight's cool tools. We hope you were able to get a lot out of tonight's webinar. Within the next few days, you will be receiving a follow-up email containing the resources shared throughout the presentations, a direct link to tonight's recorded session housed on AOP Tech's YouTube channel, as well as a link to our feedback survey. And we encourage you to complete our survey, as we greatly appreciate and value your feedback, as it's most useful when planning future offerings. So on behalf of Aaron and the entire AOP Tech team, to everyone that joined us this evening, we thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we wish you a wonderful rest of the week. Good night, everyone.